His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa issued Decree 97 of 2023, appointing a Deputy Chief Executive Officer at the General Sports Authority, the GSA, based on a proposal by the Chairman of the Supreme Council for Youth and Sports and following the approval of the Cabinet. According to the decree, Dana Muhammad Ahmed Mbaffar was appointed Deputy CEO for Facilities and Projects at the GSA. His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa chaired the weekly cabinet meeting at Aghdabiyya Palace. The cabinet highlighted the importance of the outcomes of the exceptional joint Arab-Islamic Extraordinary Summit in Riyadh, which was attended by a delegation from Bahrain led by His Royal Highness on behalf of His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa. The summit called for a comprehensive peace process as the only strategic option to guarantee regional security and stability. The summit further emphasized the importance of the international community to assume all its responsibilities in enforcing the decisions related to the Palestinian cause, including the right of the Palestinian people to establish their independent state with East Jerusalem as its capital. The cabinet commended Saudi Arabia for successfully hosting this summit, led by the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud, and supported by His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister of Saudi Arabia, Prince Mohammed bin Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud. The cabinet also noted Saudi Arabia's ongoing efforts to support the Palestinian cause and introduce a comprehensive peace process regionally and globally. The cabinet affirmed the importance of the meetings held between His Royal Highness, His Majesty King Abdullah II ibn al-Hussein of Jordan, and the President of Palestine, Mahmoud Abbas, which focused on developments in Gaza. The cabinet highlighted Tamkeen's launch of programs aimed at supporting 50,000 Bahrainis annually, headed by the Chairman of the Board of Trustees of the Isa bin Salman Educational Charitable Trust and Chairman of the Board of Directors of Tamkeen, His Highness Sheikh Isa bin Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa. Tamkeen's programs are based on three main initiatives: supporting new market entrants by creating promising opportunities, ensuring Bahrainis remain the employees of choice within the labor market, and developing the private sector by expanding enterprise support schemes. The cabinet urged all entities involved in the private sector initiative to cooperate with Tamkeen to achieve the program's goals, including increasing citizens' salaries in the private sector, and noted the efforts by the Ministry of Labour in this regard. The cabinet directed the relevant government authorities to follow up on the directives and implement recommendations of the National Audit Office Annual Report 2022-2023, noting the role of NAO in cooperating with government authorities and ensuring that public funds are managed according to set objectives. The Cabinet then approved the following: a memorandum submitted by the Government Executive Committee regarding the regulation of the social insurance organization's procedures for registering and calculating of service benefits to non-Bahrainis working in the private sector. A memorandum submitted by the Ministerial Committee for Financial and Economic Affairs and Fiscal Balance regarding developments on priority competitiveness indicators. A memorandum submitted by the Ministerial Committee for Financial and Economic Affairs and Fiscal Balance regarding the development of housing services. This follows the implementation of His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister's directives that the Ministry of Housing and Urban Planning should bear the Survey and Land Registration Bureau fees for beneficiaries from the Tasheel program through banks who have financed the program. A memorandum submitted by the Ministerial Committee for Legal and Legislative Affairs on a draft resolution approving Bahrain's accession to the Geneva Convention on Road Traffic. A memorandum submitted by the Ministerial Committee for Legal and Legislative Affairs on a draft decision amending the executive regulations of the Commercial Companies Law. A memorandum submitted by the Ministerial Committee for Legal and Legislative Affairs on a cooperation agreement between the Ministry of Industry and Commerce and the General Secretariat of the GCC. And a memorandum submitted by the Minister of Municipalities Affairs and Agriculture regarding the acquisition of two properties which will be used for public benefit and urban development. The Cabinet then reviewed the ministerial report submitted by the Minister of Interior on the outcomes of Bahrain's participation in the 40th meeting of the Interior Ministers of the GCC. The Cabinet then reviewed a memorandum submitted by the Minister of Electricity and Water Affairs on the accomplishments of the Electricity and Water Authority during the summer of 2023, which helped to reduce power outages and increase power restoration. His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa directed the Ministry of Housing and Urban Planning to bear the real estate registration fees for beneficiaries from the Tasheel program through banks who have financed the program. His Royal Highness further directed the Minister of Housing and Urban Planning to issue decisions and implement the measures. His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa met with the Speaker of the Representatives Council Ahmed Al-Msallam and the Chairman of the Shura Council Ali Saleh Aghdabiyya Palace. His Royal Highness emphasized the importance of strengthening joint collaboration between members of Team Bahrain and the executive and legislative authorities, as well as advancing efforts to achieve Bahrain's comprehensive development led by His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa. His Royal Highness commended the efforts of the members of the legislative authority, which stem from their commitment to furthering the kingdom's development and achieving the aspirations of Bahraini citizens. His Royal Highness underscored the kingdom's commitment to ensuring the sustainability, quality and efficiency of government services in line with the integrative efforts of the legislative authority. He commended Team Bahrain's role across various public and private sectors, which ensures the development of the present and future of Bahrain. Al-Msallam and Al-Saleh expressed their gratitude to His Royal Highness for his commitment to supporting cooperation between the two authorities to achieve the kingdom's desired goals and aspirations. The Deputy Prime Minister Sheikh Khalid bin Abdullah Al Khalifa, the Minister of Interior General Sheikh Rashid bin Abdullah Al Khalifa, the Minister of Foreign Affairs Dr. Abdul Latif bin Rashid Al Zayani, the Minister of Finance and National Economy Sheikh Salman bin Khalifa Al Khalifa, and a number of senior officials also attended the meeting. His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa yesterday visited the Muljamal, Kiwal Ram, Thakir and Kavalani families to mark the festival of Diwali. His Royal Highness affirmed that the visions of His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa have made the Kingdom of Bahrain a symbol of pluralism and coexistence, which strengthened its position as a haven for peace and harmony. He noted Bahrain's commitment to protect religious freedom and strengthen intercultural communication between different cultures. His Royal Highness noted that the Kingdom's celebration of Diwali, along with many other occasions, shows its commitment to preserving diversity in Bahraini society. He commended the long-standing relations established by these families in Bahraini society, as well as their contributions to the Kingdom of Bahrain. His Royal Highness affirmed that Bahrainis' tolerance and respect have enhanced the Kingdom's openness to cultural and religious diversity across the country. The Chairman of the Board of Trustees of the Isa bin Salman Educational Charitable Trust and Chairman of the Board of Directors of Tamkeen, His Highness Sheikh Isa bin Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa, also visited a number of families on this occasion and conveyed their greetings of His Royal Highness to the Bhatia, Vaidia, Nair and Asarpota families. His Highness expressed his sincere congratulations to the families, commending their contributions to community service and commitment to enhance communication and coexistence with Bahrain citizens and residents. The families expressed their gratitude for His Royal Highnesses and His Highness's visits and wish the Kingdom of Bahrain and its people continued progress and prosperity. His Royal Highness and His Highness were accompanied by several senior officials. The first Deputy Chairman of the Supreme Council for Youth and Sports, Chairman of the General Sports Authority and President of Bahrain Olympic Committee, His Highness Sheikh Khalid bin Hamad Al Khalifa, met with Government Hospital CEO Dr. Ahmed Lansari in the presence of GSA CEO Dr. Abdurrahman Askar. Following His Highness's directives, the GSA signed an MOU with Bahrain Specialist Hospital and Royal Bahrain Hospital. The MOU was signed by Dr. Abdurrahman Askar and Royal Bahrain Hospital Regional Executive Director of Operations, Dr. Ahmed Al-Rashid, and Bahrain Specialist Hospital Managing Director and Medical Director, Dr. Qasim Ardati. The MOU included providing treatments and examinations for sports sector affiliates. His Highness stressed the importance of the two MOUs that aim to providing the best health services to sports sector affiliates. He noted that these MOUs are a reflection of a cooperation between the GSA and various sectors related to sports, especially the health sector, stressing the importance of these MOUs in enhancing cooperation to serve a large segment of athletes in the kingdom. His Highness Sheikh Khalid praised the government hospital's efforts in implementing the sports clinic project. The Representatives Council Speaker Ahmed Al-Msallam chaired the committee to support the Palestinian people in a joint meeting with the Minister of Foreign Affairs Dr. Abdulatif Al-Zayani to review Bahrain's efforts in supporting the Palestinian cause and the developments in Gaza. The Speaker praised the royal approach of His Majesty the King and the support and follow-up of His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister in supporting the Palestinian cause, the legitimate right of the Palestinian people, and the establishment of their sovereign independent state with East Jerusalem as its capital in accordance with the two-state solution, the Arab Peace Initiative, and the international resolutions. Al-Msallam affirmed Bahrain's unwavering stance in supporting the Palestinian cause, praising the royal directives to provide urgent aid to Palestinians. He recalled Bahrain's urgent demand to the international community to stop the war and escalation, and the need to open urgent humanitarian corridors to bring aid into Gaza, protect all civilians, and adhere to international humanitarian law. The Foreign Affairs Minister pointed out that this national effort by the legislative authority comes in line with the royal directives of His Majesty the King and within the directions of their government headed by His Royal Highness. He discussed the kingdom's sincere and tireless efforts in regards to the Palestinian cause, highlighting the role of the Royal Humanitarian Foundation in supporting efforts aimed at stopping the war in Gaza. He praised the results of the exceptional Joint Arab-Islamic Extraordinary Summit held in Riyadh, which focused on developments in Gaza. Dr. Al-Zayani stressed that the kingdom, under the leadership of His Majesty the King, will continue its endeavors to support the people of Gaza and support their right to establish a Palestinian state with East Jerusalem as its capital. The Attorney General, Dr. Ali bin Fadl al-Bu'aynin, opened the International Human Rights Procedures and Mechanisms Workshop in the presence of the Deputy President of the Supreme Judicial Council, President of the Court of Cassation, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, and a number of officials. More in this report. In the presence of major intellectual and legal elites, the activities of the International Human Rights Procedures and Mechanisms Workshop were launched, organized by the Special Investigation Unit in cooperation with the United Nations Development Programme and the Human Rights Affairs sector of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
This workshop that we're attending today about the different mechanisms of human rights and the international level comes again as another initiative of many initiatives that the government of Bahrain always conducts to reinforce the importance of the concept of human rights, the importance of training, the importance of spreading awareness on all levels, whether it's in the public level or experts level. One of the main actually projects also in the National Plan for Human Rights that the government of Bahrain has produced for the years 2022-26 is actually about capacity or enhancing the capacity building for all different stakeholders on the commitment and the importance of human rights. Therefore, and because human rights is a progress, we do continue actually in conducting and organizing such kind of workshops and seminars to further actually escalate and spread the importance of this portfolio that holds a very important value to the Kingdom of Bahrain.
The Attorney General, Dr. Ali bin Fadl al-Bu'aynin, began an opening speech in which he stressed the importance of holding this workshop to exchange views and experiences, and that the Kingdom of Bahrain has spared no effort to strengthen justice and the rule of law, as evidenced by these legislative reviews. The workshop showcased Bahrain progress and achievements in the field of human rights, in line with the ambitious national plan to promote human rights. Relentless and joint efforts between various parties in the Kingdom of Bahrain to achieve further progress and achievements in the field of human rights, which made the kingdom become an honorable human rights model at the regional and global levels. And to speak more about that, we have with us on the phone Special Investigation Unit member, Mr. Ali Al-Jassim. Hello and welcome, Mr. Al-Jassim. Can you tell us more about the importance of holding this workshop?
Of course. First of all, I would like to thank you for the opportunity to speak about this workshop. In fact, Bahrain has paid significant attention to human rights, believing that they are the basic pillar for protecting national security and building sustainable peace. It has enacted the necessary legislation and established national mechanisms and institutions to protect and promote human rights. This specialized workshop titled International Procedures and Mechanism for Human Rights will shed light on international human rights conventions and the obligations of states toward them. It will also focus on the United Nations mechanisms for human rights and the Kingdom of Bahrain experiences in this area, as well as the requirements for preparing and submitting reports to international human rights mechanisms. And all of this will take place over 5 sessions over 2 days.
Mr. Al-Jassim, can you elaborate on the goals of the workshop and who took part in the event?
Actually, the workshop will be attended by a number of international experts, representatives, and members of all relevant national authorities and institutions and civil society organizations. The number of participants is estimated to be around 70 people. And through this workshop, we seek to enhance national efforts related to human rights and to work to achieve the goals of the Kingdom of Bahrain National Human Rights Plan 2022-2026.
Special Investigation Unit member Mr. Ali Al-Jassim, thank you for joining us. In implementation of the Royal Order of His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister, the Minister of Housing and Urban Planning, Amna Ramehi, affirmed that the Ministry began to take immediate and active procedures to implement the order by paying the real estate registration fees for beneficiaries from the Tasheel program through the program financing banks. She noted that the order will enhance the features and facilitations provided to citizens to receive housing. The Minister noted that the Ministry will allocate a budget for the real estate registration fees as additional support for beneficiaries from the program. She stated that the decision will contribute to citizens' utilization of the funding provided by Tasheel and the diversification of the options to benefit from the funding according to the available options from the housing bank or the banks participating in the program. She noted that the step will enhance the Ministry's endeavors to develop innovative housing solutions that guarantee the acceleration of completion by enhancing the partnership with the private sector to carry a main role in providing housing services for citizens. Within the framework of the National Plan for the Advancement of Bahraini Women, the identity of the objectives of the training program Tawazun were announced. The program is launched within the partnership between the Supreme Council for Women and the Institute of Public Administration with a special course to build and develop the capabilities of members of Equal Opportunities Committee in public sector institutions. The Secretary General of the SCW, Halil Ansari, explained that this training program is the result of cooperation with the Institute of Public Administration, as it was designed to serve as the first integrated program, which will extend to include private sector institutions in addition to civil society institutions. For her part, the Director General of the Institute of Public Administration, Dr. Sheikh Rana bint Isa bin Daij Al Khalifa, said that the comprehensive vision of His Majesty the King, the continuous follow-up of His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister, and the tireless national efforts of Her Royal Highness the wife of His Majesty the King and President of the Supreme Council for Women contributed to the advancement of Bahraini women. She added that the Institute seeks through its strategic partnership with the SCW to contribute effectively to integrating Bahraini women into all development fields and achieving gender balance. The advisor to the UN Women Regional Office for Arab States, Josephine Moss, indicated that the Tawazun program is considered a role model in the field of implementing national initiatives and programs aimed at achieving gender balance. Exhibition World Bahrain is prepared to host Jewelry Arabia, Scent Arabia, and Cityscape Bahrain. The 3 exhibitions will bring together the most prominent brands in each field, and unique projects will be announced, which will be launched for the first time in the kingdom and the region.